What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be showing you guys how to cut this senator pocket design step by step as always. So before you get into the video, make sure you smash the like button. And did you know that if you click on that like button, something is going to pop up, something like that. So try it out. Let's destroy the like button and let's get straight into the video. So here, the very first thing we're going to be cutting is going to be the design in the center of the pocket, as you guys can see. So I'll just mark, the design itself is going to be a total of 2 inches by 2 inches, right? So I'll be cutting 5 pieces of that design, and depending on how long you want the height of your pocket to be, that's what will determine how many design you'll be cutting. Here I'll be cutting 5 of this. So I'm just going to mark 2 inches straight like this. That's 2 inches, and I'm going to connect the dot together. So after connecting it together, I'm going to mark 2 inches to 2 inches like that all the way to the top. So I'm just going to mark, I will cut this out. You can see that I'm just going to cut it out. You can see. Now simply mark 2 inches at that side all the way to the top. So I'm going to mark 2 inches here, 2 inches here, 2 inches here, 2 inches here, and 2 inches here. So that will be a total of 5. So I'm going to just make a straight line, just connect the line straight. I'll just connect the line straight and just cut it out. You can see that. Don't forget to click on that like button. It's very important for the YouTube algorithm so that many people are going to see it. So after marking it, I'm just going to cut it out. You can see that. I'll just cut out each of the pieces. You can see that. So this is where I want you guys to pay attention. After cutting it out, all you have to do now is to fold one side together. This is what we're trying to get. In case you haven't seen the placket, I will make the placket of this same design. I'll put a link in the description below, or you can just check the video gallery. I already make a placket for this kind of a design. Also, this is just the pocket design. You're going to fold it just this way at the center part, and I'm going to simply iron it down. You can see that. I'll just use my plank to just hold the ironing so it will be firm. You can see that. So when you take a closer look at this is what we're going to have. You see that? Exactly, this is the shape in which we want. So you're going to do exactly the same thing on all of the pieces that we cut out. All of them, you're going to do exactly the same thing. Make sure you are working with the right side of the fabric. So I'm just chalking all the wrong side of the fabric. So I'll be working with the right side. So you're going to do exactly the same thing on all of the 5 pieces of fabric we have. So this is what we are going to have after. Just do all of it just like this. You can see my hand. So I'm working with 5 pieces. If you're working with more than that, or you want your pocket to be shorter, you can go with 4, 3, or depending. So here is my pocket, my main pocket itself. The height is going to be at 8 inches. You can see that. The height is going to be at 8 inches and the wideness is going to be at 6 inches. I will still be placing 1.5 in between. So that's why I call that. So I'll be using an interfacing on this one, which is a soft interfacing. You can see that. It's a soft interfacing. So I'll make sure I'm working with the right side of the fabric. So I'm going to put the interfacing on the wrong side of the fabric now. So after putting the interfacing, this is what you're going to have. You can see that is exactly what you're going to have. So what I will be doing now is I'm going to fold this equally into 2 places and make sure the line is very, very straight. That is important. After folding it into equal places, I'm going to iron it and get the center point. That's exactly what I need so that I'll be able to cut it out. So after getting the center point, I'm going to simply cut it out. You can see that. I'll cut it into 2 places. You can see that. After cutting it into 2 places, I'm going to, this is exactly the kind of design we are trying to do. The center part is going to have the design we are doing. Don't forget about that. So here, I'm just going to iron it and balance that place well. You can see the edge. So after, I'm going to fold the edge just 1/4 of an inch inward. You can see that. I'm going to fold it inward and make sure that edge is very, very straight. That is important. I'll fold it inward. You can see that. I'm just going to press it. So that we'll be having a sharper edge. You can see that. Okay, so this is what you can see how smooth that edge is. That is very, very important. So this is what we're going to have. So I'm going to do the same thing on this one as well. You can see I'll take my time to give it a good ironing. I'll fold it backward 1/4 of an inch. Make sure it is smooth and balanced. You can see that. Make sure it is straight. You can see how smooth that is. So the next thing I'll be cutting now is going to be the pieces in the center. This is exactly what we're trying to do. So I'll be using this for cutting the pieces in the center. So the pieces in the center is going to be a total of 1.5 inches, right? Because I'll still be trimming the inside, but it doesn't have to be bigger than the design itself, right? Design is going to be a total of 1 inches. You can see that, but I'll be cutting 1.5 inches because of the both sides, right? So that they will be kissing the both side and they will be kissing each of the edge of the fabric itself. So that's why I'll be cutting 1.5 inches. So here is the pieces that I cut. You can see that. So the wideness is going to be 1.5 and the height is going to be exactly the same height as of the pocket itself, right? Because we'll be folding the edge and we'll be folding the M part also. So after that, I'll be adding fusing to this one as well. I'll be adding a fuse to that one. So after adding the fusing, you can see the next thing I'm going to do is to align all of the design, all of the fabric design that we did. I'm going to align it all on that center pieces that we just cut now. You can see that. But on this one, as of the previous one in which we make before, you know, we stitch it down to the fabric. But on this one, you don't need to stitch it to the fabric. We're just going to, you don't need to stitch it first. If you haven't seen that video, just go to the link in the description and check the video on how to make the other placket. So on this one, we're just going to stitch it at the side, right? Before we're going to add our placket to it. But first and foremost, let me just go and stitch it first so that you guys are going to see what I'm trying to do here. You can see that. So let me take this to the sewing machine and do the stitching so that you guys can see. So after the stitching, this is what we're going to have. You can see, just use the stitch to hold it down first. After that, I'm going to trim the edges. I'm going to trim the edges. You can see that. Trim the edges very well. Make sure the edges are straight with the center pieces itself. You can see. After trimming the edges, I believe you guys can see that. Take your time, give it an ironing so that it's going to be balanced and you're not going to see a ruffle other side. You can see this is exactly what we're trying to get. You can see that. So what I'll be doing now is I'll be stitching this, but the stitching is not going to be outside. The stitching is going to be inside of the fabric itself, right? So let me show you that. So here on the pieces, you're going to place it backward like this. You can see that. And you're going to open the the fold before on the placket. After opening the fold, as you guys can see, I'm going to stitch on the line, on the gaiters of the fold itself, all the way down. You can see that. You can see what we have now. So I stitch both sides. You can see this hole we're going to have. I'm just going to trim out this excess at those sides. I will trim it out, so I'll be able to have some straight line at that place. You can see that. You can see what we're having. So I'm just going to trim out that edge. You can see that. So after trimming it out, as you guys can see, I'll be able to take my time to give this side a good ironing. You can see, give it a good ironing. Make sure the edges are smooth. You can see that. You can see how laid it looks. You can see how flat it looks. You can see that. So after ironing that side, you're going to iron the other side as well. Make sure the fabric is facing the side of the pocket. Make sure it's not facing the inside of the design. That's very important. So I'm going to iron this one also. I believe you're enjoying the video so far, so make sure you smash the like button in case you are yet to do that. Why don't you want to smash the like button? Let's destroy this like button. I'm just joking. Okay, so after we're done with that, what we'll be doing next is the edge, which is the pocket front itself. I'm going to be folding it by like 1/4 of an inch. That's the spacing which we have at the edge. I'll be folding it by 1/4 of an inch. You can see that. I will not be folding it up to that, up to the design itself. So I'll be folding just 1/4 of an inch at that edge. Just make sure the edge is smooth and sharp enough. You can see that. You can see that. Just give it a good ironing. You can see that. You can see that. You can see how smooth the edge is looking now so far. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to place, I'll be putting an hemming gum under that fold. I'll put in an hemming gum under the fold so that it's going to like hold it down permanently. So I'm just going to raise it up. I'll be cutting the hemming gum into 2 so that it will be able to like, I won't be having an excess gum, or if I iron the pocket to the borders, it won't be like gluing together. So I'm just going to cut the hemming gum into 2 so that I'll be able to place it underneath of that fold. And I'm going to simply iron it down. You can see that. So now it is folded permanently, you see. So after that, the next thing we are going to do now is to decide how wide you want your pocket to be. So on this pocket, I'll be working with 5 inches. I'll be working with 5 inches on this one. Depending if you're working with a smaller person, your pocket could be like 4.5 inches. But on this one, I'll be working with 5 inches. So I'll be folding like 1/4 of an inch from each of the side of the pocket in order to achieve the 5 inches that I'm working with. So after folding it, I'm just going to give it a good ironing. Make sure it is laid very, very well. That is the most important part. And if you're using a steam iron, that is a lot easier for you. But on this one, I'm working with generator. I've been working with generator like forever. Jesus Christ, there's no electricity, and I'm even I've given up. All right, so here now I'll be folding this one also by 1/4 of an inch on the side as well. Make sure it is straight and make sure you iron it. Just in case, most of the time what I do is I work with this this ironing, and later I'll be able to, like, maybe if there's light or something, I'll be using my steam iron to do the finishing. That's what I usually do. That's why I'm using an iron that can work with generator, right? And it worked perfectly well. So after folding, you can see this is the result we'll be having. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to fold this down part. So depending on the design in which you want, you can actually go for a curve, you can go for a square, you can go for anything you want. But on this one, I'm just going to fold it like an angular shape. Just an angular shape like this. You can see that. And I'll make sure the angled edge is no more than 6 inches. So I'll be folding this. I'll make sure it's no more than 6 inches, which will be the total height of the pocket itself. So I'll fold this inside very well. You can see that. And I'm going to measure it. So you can see we have 6 inches. So that's exactly what I'll be working with. So after that, I'm just going to iron it down. Make sure it's relaxed. You can see that. You can see that. Make sure it's relaxed. Give it a good ironing. After that, in order to get the exact angle of the other side, just fold it together like this. You can see, fold it together just this way. And I'm going to simply iron this edge. So if I iron the edge, if I raise it up, there is a gaiters at that side. That is exactly where I'll be folding. Can you see it? Let me iron it again. After ironing it at that edge, you're going to have a gaiters at that corner right here. I believe you guys can see that. That's exactly where I'll be following in order to do my angle. So I'll just fold this backward and make sure the two fabric are aligned in the center. So I will have the same height and the same corner. You can see that. So I'll simply iron them together. And also from behind, I'm going to iron it together. You can see that. So I'll simply cut out the excess after the folding. And on this one also, I'll cut out the excess. You can see. You can see that. So I'll just give it a good ironing. So our pocket is ready. But in order for just a touch, just a very, very simple touch, I'll be adding a black fabric at the edge of the pocket. But in case you don't want that, you can simply go with just this. It's all right. But the black fabric is going to have like a pleat on the edge. So this is the black fabric I'll be using. So it's just a very simple design. And I add the fusing to the back of the fabric. So after that, I'm just going to iron the pieces. I'm just going to iron it down. I fold the edge so that I'm going to have an edge I'll be working with. I'll iron it down and I'm going to fold each of the sides. You can see that. Now iron it straight. You can see that. I'm going to fold this one also. But in case you don't want to do this, the job is done. You can just attach this this pocket to your senator straight up and you can go. But if you just want to give it just a little bit of touch of like a different color, that's why I'm using black on this one. You can simply go for that. So I'll just place it right at the place in which I want it to be. I'm going to stitch the first center, just a very tip. I'm going to stitch it. So after stitching that side, so I want you guys to pay attention here. So here, I'm going to stitch the front first. I'm just going to stitch that front and I'm going to put a pleat. After putting the pleat, I'm going to hold it and stitch the center. Then take another pleat, stitch the center. Then I'm going to turn the fabric inside, which is the black, and do the finishing. So this is exactly what I'm just talking about. So that is it. You can see the pleat, just 2 pleats. That is all. And your pocket design is ready. That is all about doing this design. Is a very simple design. So if you like the video, don't forget to smash the like button recklessly and I will see you